How about the Mile High All-Stars right there? And this is our buddy Stu on the piano. Yeah, that's an opening for you right there. I know what everybody's thinking about this morning, spring training, baseball. Woo. So there's a lot of baseball changes this year. They've changed the rules quite a bit, trying to make the game more exciting. I mean, could baseball be more exciting? You've got 15 minutes of action packed into a 3.5-hour game. I mean, how could it be more exciting? So we're making the bases bigger. We've got a time clock now. What about this stuff? And I think where we have to draw the line is robot umpires, don't we? Don't we have to draw the line there? So there's going to be a march. We're going to march on Coors Field, but I'll let you people know. All right, so here's some other stuff that's coming up. I know most of you are here because it's a Sheet Cake Sunday, right? Isn't it great to have sheet cake back? Fine tradition in our church. So after this service here, we're celebrating 40 years of the foundation over in the community center. So stop over and have a piece of cake and meet some people. We're real proud to have the foundation around for 40 years, and thank you for all of you who are a part of that. And next week, we're going to have a new members class. If you're here and you're wondering, how do I get to be a member of this crazy group? There will be a new members class next Sunday and also one online next Monday. And then we got a couple of great classes coming up. Reverend Josh is doing one on Socrates that I took before, Socrates and the Meaning of Life. So that is coming up pretty soon. And then Reverend Zamira has one on Celtic spirituality. And so it's just good. The Rockies are still undefeated. Beautiful day and the sun is shining. Life is good. Yeah? All right. More good news for you here. Tom Litch is in the house. Here we go.
And with me are my friends from the Mile High Choir. And my friend Maddie Jazwerska. We're going to sing We Are Mile High. Please join us. Here we go. We are mile high. We are the world.
All right, Tom Litch, Maddie Jazwerska, our incredible choir. Don't they look beautiful today? And looking almost as beautiful, our Mile High All-Stars band. So grateful for them. So grateful for you. Welcome to Mile High Church. It's so great to have everyone here. welcome those who are watching us online. We are here, if you're new to our church, we're here because we believe in a presence of love that is surrounding us at all times, that when we learn to do the hard work of receiving that love in our heart, it results in an opening, a healing, forgiveness of resentments, and a moving forward, willing to experience and live great and fantastic lives. That's what I'm working on. Is that what you're working on too? Yeah, let's all keep at it. And I can't imagine a better deliverer of a message on how to do that than our own Minister Emeritus, Dr. Roger Teel, who'll be speaking with us this morning. Thank you, Dr. Roger. And we love to recite our vision and mission each week here at Mile High Church. It's coming up on the screens if you want to say it along with me. It goes like this: our vision, oneness revealed, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. And our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. So let us all go within to that place where you and I are one, and we know it as we move into this time of song, of silence, and prayer.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
We know that God is in this space, in this space, in this place, in this community, in this dome, where the Vesica Pisces looks down upon us and reminds us of all that have been here before us. And each one of us here in the room, those that are watching online, those that aren't even watching but have a love for this community, we know that God is within each person, each one of us is that unique representation of God right here on planet Earth at this time. We are each here for such a time as this, in spite of appearances, in spite of what looks like awful things going on around us, wars, man's inhumanity to man. But we know that God is all there is, that God too feels everything we feel, and that as we go into the inner space within us, God is there. God is giving everything we need if we just know how to reach out and take that and do something for good in this world, because God is all there is. And so we can rest in that and know that as we sit in this room or we watch online, that we see the face of God showing up in so many ways, showing up as our musicians, as our message, as our volunteers, as our neighbor sitting next to us in community. God is all there is. And I am so deeply thankful for that knowledge, for that knowing that I, with that eye of God, can move into the world as a beneficial presence. Thank you, Spirit. So I let this prayer go now, watching it unfold perfectly, and together we affirm, and so it is.
No doubt in my
Words of wisdom from Alice Walker. I am an expression of the divine, just like a peach is, just like a fish is. I have a right to be this way. I can't apologize for that, nor can I change it, nor do I want to. We will never have to be other than who we are in order to be successful. We realize that we are as ourselves unlimited and our experiences valid. It is for the rest of the world to recognize this if they choose. And from Robert Fulghum, to look this way is to see. To see is to have vision. To have vision is to understand. To understand is to know. To know is to become. To become is to live fully. To live fully is to matter. And to matter is to become light. And to become light is to be loved. And to be loved is to burn, and to burn is to exist, off and on.
There's revival, and it's spreading like a wildfire in my heart. Sunday morning, hallelujah, and it's lasting all week long. Oh, can you hear it? Can you feel it? It's the rhythm of the gospel song. Oh, to choose it, you'll never lose it. Because there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. I got an old church choir singing in my soul. I got a sweet salvation, and it's beautiful. I got a heart overflowing 'cause I've been restored. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. In the valleys that I wander, turn to mountains that I can't climb. Oh, you are with me, you'll never leave me. Because there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. I got an old church choir singing in my soul. I got a sweet salvation, and it's beautiful. I got a heart overflowing 'cause I've been restored. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. Clap your hands and stomp your feet till you find that gospel beat, 'cause it's all you'll ever need. All you'll ever need. Clap your hands and stomp your feet till you find that gospel beat, 'cause it's all you'll ever need. All you'll ever need. I got an old church choir singing in my soul. I got a sweet salvation, and it's beautiful. I got an old church choir singing in my soul. I got a sweet salvation, and it's beautiful. I got a heart overflowing 'cause I've been restored. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy. No, there ain't nothing gonna steal my joy.
Mr. Tom Litch, music director, the Mile High Choir, and this incredible band this day, headed up by Rob Lowe. Let's acknowledge them again. Love it, love it, love it. Good morning. What a joy to be back here with you and share a few little thoughts, or a lot of thoughts. You know me well enough. Love and blessings to you all. One of the things that's so true for Erica and me is we just stand in constant support of Mile High Church, doing whatever we can do to support Dr. Michelle, Reverend Josh, the board, anybody that calls and asks, we respond. And one of the things that's been a recent pleasure is to be even more involved in our Mile High Church Foundation. They gave me a wonderful volunteer title as chairman, and not much of a job description, but I do what I imagine one would do. And mostly I'm a voice of promoting this wonderful foundation begun in 1983. I remember us beginning this and seeing it evolve over all of these years. And so now it's our 40th anniversary of this foundation, and it's so lovely. Yes. So lovely to see how it is growing and how it is fulfilling its design to be the long-term financial foundation for this church for generations to come. And so we're very grateful for all of you who are Nautilus members who've attested that you are going to be providing in your own way for the church in your estate, and then also for our boards of trustees members of the foundation over these 40 years, some of whom I think are here with us, who've served so beautifully and devotedly. And we're going to celebrate after we're done here. We're going to go over to the community center and have some cake and ice cream and acknowledge some of these people some more. And maybe this will be an opportunity for some of you who might feel the moving of the heart to, I think I want to do that. I want to join that momentum and feel that privilege, knowing that I've left a legacy here. So we're going to be doing that. But first, I would like to ask any of you who are current or former trustees of the Mile High Church Foundation, I just in my heart to have you acknowledged here in the room. So would you please stand if you are one of those current or former trustees? Some are in the back there. Michael, yeah, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. You're a blessing, and thanks for all you are and do. 20 years ago, wife Erica and I had this massive, beautiful experience when our first grandchild, Daisy, was put in our arms. She's now in her college years, hard to fathom. And following her came 4 other beautiful lights into our life: Hazel, Roy, Francis, Henry. And we just felt like we were in the lap of luxury, an embarrassment of riches as grandparents. Then, 6 weeks ago, our youngest son and his daughter presented us with a 6th grandchild, little Nico. Here I am basking over little Nico. Here's Erica doing the same. That's a couple of weeks ago. He was getting bigger and bigger. What a joy. 20 years ago, when Daisy was born, I was moved to write a message about that. And with Nico here now, it just feels right to share it again, refresh it a little for him, for our grandchildren, and for all of us, because it has some deep themes, important ones. But first, what a joy to be a grandparent. Those of you who are grandparents, it's wonderful to be among the most beloved people in these young parents' lives, mostly because we spoiled them thoroughly and then give them back. And as Ogden Nash once wrote, that when grandparents enter the door, discipline flies out the window. And that's very true. But on the more genuine and serious side about grandparenting, back then I realized grandparents are the wisdom bearers of the tribe. And that's what moved me to want to write a message about the life keys that it would be great for children to know early on their journey of life. The life keys that, if known and not forgotten, if remembered, would open up greater and greater avenues of fulfillment, creativity, love, joy, and purpose in their lives. And I've realized that these are exactly the same kind of themes that we need to keep current and alive in our hearts as we practice truth principles and the science of mind and spirit. So I want to offer you today some basic guideposts on the journey. Our topic is Guideposts for a Great Life. Guideposts that may seem at first blush to be very basic, but I tell you what, if you're going to have a great life, you better be brilliant in the basics, brilliant and masterful in the basics. 7 guideposts for our journey. The first one is God's gotcha. God's gotcha. When little Nico is old enough to understand and knows how much we love him, that's what I want to whisper over and over again to him. God's gotcha. Little Nico, God's gotcha. There are 5 words in the Bible that I think are extremely important for every one of us to remember. Underneath are the everlasting arms. You feel those arms underneath your spirit? We can fall oblivious to it, that's for sure. But I believe that the child's heart in every one of us yearns to have that experience. I don't know what your age is, but it doesn't matter what your age is, what your belief systems are. There's something deep within that yearns to deepen into the feeling and knowing that there's a greater something that loves us, that supports us. Underneath are the everlasting arms. That this divine spirit is holding us and nurturing us and infusing us with its energy, its strength, its encouragement, its love, its healing energy. There's something in us that wants to know this of a certainty. And I'll tell him, best way I can, that it's when we forget this that fear creeps into our lives. And we become not love-based beings, but fear-based beings. But we don't have to stay in that. That we can return to the most powerful place in us that fear can't touch, and that's the heart. And that we can go to our hearts and warm our hearts and feel ourselves being connected into that love energy that holds us, that has birthed us. And we can bathe in the sanctuary of light and renew ourselves and step forward in a wonderful and a beautiful way. Yeah, this is what I want us to remember today. God's gotcha. And it's what I want to know at a deeper and more powerful level. I want to tell Nico that when you fall down in life, God's gotcha. When you get hurt in life, God's gotcha. Amidst your setbacks and your successes, God's gotcha. When somebody breaks your heart, God's gotcha. And when someone you love lays aside their body and seems to leave you, God's gotcha. And God's got them. Yeah, plant that guidepost on the pathway. That first guidepost, God's gotcha. And the second one, build within. Yeah, I want to help Nico comprehend as I seek to remind myself that life is an inner job. The game of life is an inner job. And we can be easily attached to and compelled by the outer in this life. So easily. But it's the inner things that most matter. It's our dreams, our vision, it's our creativity. It's an awakened consciousness, a spiritually inspired consciousness. That's what matters. That's what's essential. That's what makes everything in life a miracle and not a drudgery. I'll probably tell him about the Easterner who traveled here to the West and took a long bus trip to see some of the sights. But he was unmoved by any of it. He just wasn't available to it. He scoffed at the Grand Canyon. He poo-pooed our beautiful Rocky Mountains. He disliked the magic of the desert. And he didn't think much about Yellowstone Park. Finally, the bus driver had enough of that. And he just said to him, "Man, when you haven't got it inside, you can't see it outside." Yeah, and that's so true, isn't it? I would want to say those words Ernest Holmes declared over and over again. There is a power for good in the universe, greater than we are, and we can use it. And it can work with us. We can use it. And I'll tell him, we regularly need to do some inner house cleaning. Every one of us. Because the dirt creeps in, the grime, the drudge and the sludge of life creeps in. We get caught up in our judgments and our misperceptions and our fears, and we need to do some thorough house cleaning, like the spring cleaning that's going to come up, here soon, hopefully. And we're going to open the windows and let in some fresh air, and we need to do that regularly so that we can build up our energy within. In the Course of Miracles, it's written, there's a place in you where there is perfect peace. There is a place in you where nothing is impossible. And there is a place in you where the strength of God abides. So build within. Build within. The third guidepost, so essential, is choose creatively. Oh, how important to learn early on the incredible power of our choosing in this life. Choosing. That's a message every one of us needs, and we need it early on as we can get it, especially for our young people. That's why we have such a pride in the youth ministry here, is to help young people know early on the truth of who they are and how their choice matters and how it impacts their life. I would say to Nico that every person, on average, makes at least 5,000 choices each and every day. Very few of those choices are conscious and by design. Most of them are by default, defaulting to previous choices, usually ones that do not serve us. Knee-jerk reactions to old ideas and limitations that we have stored within. Saying yes to letting people manipulate us with those ideas, yet it's still a choice. Trying not to choose, but that's a choice as well. That our power to choose is overall in our life. As Ernest Holmes wrote, you cannot live a choiceless life. You just cannot. But it's especially our choices of our thoughts and our beliefs that write the script so much in our life. That our choices either create, or they promote, or they allow the tendencies of the experiences along the path for us. But we don't have to stay victims to whatever's in form in our life. We can be renewed within ourselves. We can choose a new stance, a new direction. We can choose to summon the energies within us, to rise above the appearances around us. We can choose. That's the way to live this life. Probably tell him about Professor Virchow. Maybe you remember me telling you about this long ago, but Professor Virchow had an interesting experience. In his day, in the 1800s, there was a statesman named Bismarck. And Bismarck would fight a duel over just about anything. And at one particular point, unbeknownst to him, he felt that Professor Virchow had offended him. So he immediately declared a duel. You shall meet me in a duel. Now, when anybody declares a duel, the other party has the privilege of selecting the weapons for the duel. Well, Virchow was a scientist, not a fighter, but it was his job to do that. So on the day of the duel, early in the morning, he went out to the field of honor, and Bismarck showed up and he said, "Sir, it is your privilege and responsibility to choose the weapons for our duel. What shall they be?" And with that, Professor Virchow produced 2 big, juicy sausages. And proceeded to explain to Bismarck that one of these sausages has been injected with a lethal poison. The other is perfectly good eating. And so he said, "So, my dear Bismarck, let us sit down and dine together." Well, with that, Bismarck took it all in, knowing that one of those was sure death, and he turned red-faced and left the field in dishonor. And I just love that. I just love the thought of this duel being fought, and it's not two people flailing away at each other, but some sausages being eaten. And each and every day, we have a similar situation in our life of choosing the healthy or the toxic. Maybe it's what somebody says. What's my choice going to be about that? Am I going to choose a toxic judgment and animosity and let that brew within me and create the toxins and poisons that resentment does? Something somebody does to me, I'll have the healthy and the unhealthy choice before me. What shall it be? What shall it be? Poisonous or toxic? Choose wisely and get creative. Here's a kind of a principle that one can use in choosing. Does the choice I'm about to make line up with my highest idea of myself and my highest vision for my life? Does the choice I'm about to make, is it true to my highest idea of me and my highest vision for my life? If we can remember to bring that litmus test to our choosing, we'll be choosing wisely and creating a greater and more beautiful path before us. Choose creatively. The next one is very important and one that I learned long ago. Trust love. Trust love. That's the fourth guidepost for a great life. I would explain that many forget the love that just oozed from them when they were kids, when they were children. Life happens. Things happen. People get hurt and unwittingly close the most powerful part of them, their hearts. And that people stop trusting love. And that in fact the ego structure, built on a sense of inadequacy and separation, defends against love. And somehow we get bogged down and life gets drained of its magic. We've got to learn to trust love again. The awakened masters have come along and said to us, God is love. Not God is loving, but God is love. And love is the great elixir. It's the healing energy. And perfect love casts out fear. The masters have told that. But then I'll just say to Nico, let me tell you, I've been a student of this. I realized in my early 30s that I had a closed and protected heart, given some of the things going on in my earlier life. And I began to be aware that it was blocking me. But that awareness came through another wounding. And what at the time felt like a terrible betrayal, searing me with pain to the core of my being. And I'll just help him understand that that was actually a heartbreak that was helping me open my heart. It was a heart-opening opportunity. And thank God, I give thanks every day, that there were people around me who could remind me, and that my own journey, it was time for me to see that guidepost and do whatever it took to begin to trust love. And that I found my way to the opportunity to have a massive heart opening that recharged and redirected the entire trajectory of my life from that point on. That everything in my life began to blossom. My ministry blossomed, and I wouldn't have experienced anything like I had in the many, many years that followed, had that not happened. My life became magic. I became happier. I began to have more functional relationships until that day in 1987, standing out on the patio in front of our former sanctuary. I could turn around and I could see Erica there. And I had eyes to see and a heart to feel that something was different here. Something was intended here. And I didn't know what to do, because I didn't want to come across as one of those ministers. So I buddied up to her boys. Now my boys. They were 5 and 8. They'd lost their dad several years earlier. And they're such beautiful souls. And I said, you guys, whenever you're here, come see me, okay? And they said, yeah. And I said, bring your mom. And one thing led to another. Do you know how much beauty is there for you when you trust love? And yeah, you may be afraid for a while. Oh, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. What I learned, and what I'll tell Nico, is that I used to think years earlier in my life that love was a commodity and people could take your love and take it away from you. That's never true. Love isn't a commodity. Love is an energy within every one of us, a reality. And we are the love we're seeking. But life says, you want more of it? You got to give it away. You got to open it up. And that's what I learned to do, and you can too. Don't close your heart. Trust love. Now, the next guidepost is a companion to it. The fifth guidepost is pain passes. Now, I'll explain to little Nico that pain happens in life. We experience pain of one kind or another as human beings. That's because we're feeling beings, and it's a good thing. But that pain can also get riveted into us and can close us from the greater joys of life. And I'll tell him that while pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. We suffer most because we resist. It's like the metaphor of the Persian rug. You turn it over on its backside, and it looks like this ugly jumble of threads and making no sense, and it's not attractive. And when we're in the midst of a painful experience, the world looks like that to us. But there is a flip side. And there comes that point when we're ready to turn the rug over and see the greater beauty of it. And see how even that which seemed disorder and chaotic produced a beautiful expression. More life. There's always more life on the other side of our pain. And I'll try to impress that upon this beautiful soul. And I will tell him about his grandmother, Erica, also known to the grandchildren as Mimi. I'll tell them about her and how she lost her husband, her first husband, to leukemia when Nico's dad and uncle were just 3 and 5, and how painful that was for her. And how she entered into her grieving, also committed to being a strong mom for those boys, and that she would then, after she adjusted to this and let the grieving flow, she could again open her heart and have the realization after a couple of years that she needed to orchestrate a new chapter of her life. The setting needed to change. She needed to open in that new chapter to new friendships, and she was already in a big circle of friends where she had been living. And she blessed them, but she said, I must embark on the new. And she did. And she moved here to Denver. And nobody's happier than me that she was willing to do that I could meet her, marry her, adopt the boys, help raise them, and now be a grandparent. And I'll just say, talk to her about it, because there's another side to pain. Feel your feelings. Don't stuff that. There's nothing wrong with the pain, the feelings. Just don't close yourself. Keep your heart open, or find that moment where you turn over the carpet and you see the beauty and you re-embrace life. And then you can do a whole lot of forgiving. You can forgive others, forgive yourself, forgive God, whatever you need to forgive, that you might move back into the fullness of your beautiful journey. Pain passes. And the sixth guidepost on the path would be keep playing. Oh, how sad it is whenever we lose the wisdom of a playful heart in our life, the energy of a playful heart. I mean, we're here to play the game of life. And there's times we make life seem so blasted serious. But indeed, it is a game, and we're meant to have joy in this life, and we're meant to go for it in this life, however we want. And our playful spirit contains so many qualities. I hope that Nico will remember that the energies he has as a child, the creativity, the sensitivity, the truth-telling, the imagination, the openness, all of these are powerful qualities not to lose as you get older in this life. And I think a whole lot of us need to reclaim them so that we can keep playing the game. I'll tell him about a story, a true story I've shared many times before, about a guy named Roy Reagles, playing in a college Rose Bowl football game. The other team fumbles. He picked it up and ran the wrong direction and scored a touchdown for the other team. And how he went into the locker room at halftime, dejected and weeping and sitting off in a corner, telling his coach, "Coach, I can't go out. I can't face the crowd." And that coach grabbed him by the shoulder pads and he said, "Roy, get up and go back. The game isn't over yet." And he got it. And he went out and played like he'd never played before and helped his team on to a victory. I hope that Nico and all of us will remember that The most beautiful and important things in our life are our dreams and our vision and our heart. And there'll be times when we've got a dream we care about. We'll take some steps. And not always does everything work out. And sometimes things crumble. Sometimes we fumble or score a reverse touchdown on some endeavor. We got to remember, get up and go back. The game isn't over yet. And if we'll do that with our whole heart and keep playing, we've got to end up being winners. We will. Keep playing. And then finally, maybe a very powerful guidepost. Plant that on your journey. Go long. Go long. This one is about the intention to play full out, not halfway. Life, the glory of life is not in how safe we keep ourselves, but how we go for it. How we play this game of life. And I'll try to say to Nico, the quality life is determined by how much quality you give to life. To have a quality life, you've got to give quality to this life. Give ourselves. What we give of ourselves determines what we experience in this life. As we give, so do we receive. And I'll remind him or tell him, teach him, that we are in the express business. That we're here to be expressions, meaning imparting, staying open to a flow of all the creativity and uniqueness and the ideas and the caring and the involvement that want to flow through us and use us, not to be constricted, tight beings, but open and flowing, going for it in our lives. That's what we're here for. Live that way. In closing, I want to share a letter that I wrote to my oldest son, and I gave it to him on his wedding day, 20 years ago plus. And I'm just going to read the opening as I wrote it and the closing, but I'll just paraphrase the body of it. Dear Justin, remember when you were about 9 years old and we played football in the basement or outdoors when the weather was nice. It was so much fun. It was the best. We made up lots of routes and we gave them each a name and we'd run each one until we had it down perfectly. But no matter how fancy we made the plays, our favorite one was the long and deep route. Now, it wasn't fancy or intricate. You just took off straight down the sideline as fast as you could run, and I'd launch that football out in front of you. And to catch this one, you had to pour everything you had into it and stretch as far as you could. After a while, you got so good at it. We'd run lots of plays, but they were all just setting the stage for the super long ball. And we'd huddle, and I'd say, "Go long, Jus." You'd smile, and your eyes would twinkle, and you seemed to love to pour everything you had into the challenge. Well, so then I wrote about how proud I was of him on his wedding day, and that I had imagined that some of these new roles of husband, father that he would be assuming could seem intimidating. And so I wrote some lines reminding him of the incredible qualities that I'd seen blossom in him. Then I wrote about marriage, telling him it's better than I ever thought it could be. So many joys and adventures and such deepening. And I told him, if we hang in there with it, love deepens if we give it that work, if we hang in and learn and grow. And then I wrote about fatherhood and thanked him for the privilege of going on that journey with him and his brother. And I said, it takes a lot of energy too, I wrote, and the results and the rewards are phenomenal. And I said, but one thing I learned a little too late is that you don't have to have all the answers. What you get to do is listen better, listen a lot, and just respect the genius in every child and seek to help them be all they can be. And so having said all of that, I concluded, please don't forget, Justin, that in the game of life, you are a winner. You've overcome and become so much already. Just rely on the very best in you. The way you used to run routes, especially the super long one. And everything will be great. So as you find yourself poised before all these incredible experiences, I'm huddling with you in my heart. And all I got to say is, go long, Jus. Go long. So I say to you, go along. That's what we're here for. Stretch into your greatness. So 7 guideposts for the journey of our lives. May they bless you, enrich you, and remind you how magnificent you are. Here they are in quick review. God's got you. God's got you. Build within. Choose creatively. Trust love. The pain passes. Keep playing and go long. And may you always remember how beautiful, magnificent, and precious you are. Let's have a prayer together. Oh, infinite love, thank you that underneath us and within us are the everlasting arms of your creative spirit. Thank you for helping us come to know that we are beloved, that we are endowed with all the various qualities of your magnificence, pure life, infinite intelligence, divine creativity, unopposed power, harmony, beauty, joy, creative possibilities, wholeness, and peace. We give thanks for the miracle that has been given us, called this incarnation of life. And we remember these basic ideas that we might shine, that we might love, that we might dream, that we might get up when we fall down, that we might keep playing and go long. And I give thanks that the power to be, do, and experience all of this is already within every one of us. So in this moment, I invite you just to affirm, thank you, Spirit, for the gifts given me. Thank you for the renewal of my consciousness, that I might embrace life anew and live it fully in this precious moment with all the love and the kindness and the purpose that I hold in my soul. And I do give thanks that with every breath, your love is in me and with me, and all is well. I know this, I own this, I live this, and then so it is for me. Thank you, Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Oh, thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything.
Yeah, thank you, God. I'm grateful you're here. I needed that message, so thanks for giving me an excuse to revisit that. And thank you for being here, beloved ones. Thank you for those of you watching online. You're a treasure as well. And now it's our time to enjoy the privilege of sharing of the good that we've been blessed with. Really, every good thing in my life is really God's good that I've been allowed to steward and to enjoy. And ultimately, I'm invited to pass it along, to share of it. And that's such an enlightened view of the good in our life. And the neat thing is that as we heed that, it expands in our life. So we get to enter into this precious spiritual practice and this movement of the heart together as we resource our beloved Mile High Church. So thank you for using whatever means of sharing that you like. Baskets are going to be coming around if you're kind of old-fashioned like I am in that regard and like to just toss it in the basket. They're coming around. And just know that your gift is received with great joy and gratitude. So as you hold that gift in your hand or your heart, let's declare together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
Will the circle
We came to Mile High Church in October 1999, so that makes us about 23 years that we've been a member of Mile High Church. What I love most about Mile High Church is the community. And I always say that every, Sunday that I come to church, I feel so much more fulfilled when I leave this campus than when I got here. And I've developed hundreds and hundreds of friends and been involved in the men's group and on the board of trustees a couple of times and helped build a new sanctuary when it came up. And those are all just such great memories. And I think that's what your life's all about, is great memories. And Mile High is right at the top for us, of us being very involved, because the more involved I am, the more I enjoy it.
I think we jumped aboard early. We knew that the teaching would work for us, the community would work for us to the extent that we gave back to it. And that has proven to be true. It's interesting because when we were asked to do this, I was curious what we were thinking all those years ago when we joined Nautilus Society. So I read our quote on the Nautilus wall, and it is a quote by Henry Ward Beecher. "Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs forth from the soul." There it is, it's gratitude. That's why we joined the Nautilus Society. I know many of you have already remembered Mile High Church's foundation in your will, and I am inviting you, asking you to let us know about it so that we can include you in the Nautilus Society.
Thank you, Ron and Linda. How about Director Stacy Landis and this incredible Mile High Choir? We are so grateful for all the incredible time and hours of effort and talent you bring us. Thank you so much. Let's hear it again from Maddie Jezwierska. So wonderful to have you here with us, Maddie. Tom Litch and this incredible Mile High Band. And thank you so much, Dr. Roger Teel, everybody. We are putting two wonderful things together today. We're putting Dr. Roger and cake together in our community center. The foundation is celebrating its 40th year. We're not there to sell you a timeshare or anything. It's just to celebrate and have fun, hang out. We're so grateful to Mark and the team for putting that together for us as well. Want you to know that we've got some great classes coming up. Reverend Zamira has a Celtic spirituality class coming up next month in March, and I'm teaching a class called Socrates and the Meaning of Life. Looking forward to that. If you want to know how brilliant, if you don't know already, how brilliant Reverend Jackie Harris is, check out our Wednesday Night Insight program. It airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. You can see it on Facebook as well, and really appreciate your messages there. Dr. Roger, will you take us home?
Our home isn't big enough, but I would love it if we could. But would you stand? I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of you, but I'm going to head right over to the community center for the party and the celebration. If you've got some time, you want to stop over there and have a hug, I'd love to have that happen and find out more about our incredible Mile High Church Foundation. So we go forth this day, firmly on our path, heeding the guideposts, what the Spirit has commended to us to live the great life, this moment and every moment, now and always, and so it is. Amen.
Walk with each